Tell me something.
Yes.
When you were in Deloitte,
Yes.
there were people before you that were going through all of that. And they went through all of that. And there were people with you who were going through what you were going through and all of the unnecessary wrongs that Deloitte was putting you guys on. And now with KFC, I mean, you might not see justice from it, but now maybe someone else, maybe they won't continue doing this, or what's the point of all of this? What's the point of fighting all the time? You know, you went through so much, and okay, let's just talk about Deloitte. You went through so much. They wrongfully arrested you, and there's still no justice for that, because they made sure that you'll never get a job, and you never did get a job. Now you had to make your own business, right? And they arrested you. You had to spend, was it a night in prison, a night in a holding cell, and then you had to pay bail for something again you still didn't do, because they accused you of stealing a laptop, which was your laptop, because when you went to CCMA, they said your contract only ended end of September. So obviously, if your contract only ended end of September, that laptop should be in your possession anyway, but you gave the laptop back. And after you gave the laptop back, I know I'm jumping in, I'm not telling the whole story, but just tell me, I just want to know, what is the point of all of this?
You see, we go through things, and I believe that if we, like you say, we might not get justice for ourselves, but we're making the path clearer for future generations, whether it be our child or our child's child or whatever the case is, so that these things don't happen again. Because if you just leave it, because people say, oh, you must just lump it and you must leave it, that's how it is, that's how life is, that's how these people are, then obviously they're going to continue. People, when I, with Deloitte for example, when I sent out that message, and then 150,000 or ever many people in the world got the email, there were people that were emailing me and saying that they went through the same thing, and then they had to pay 80,000 rand back because they left the graduate program. They didn't complete it because of the conditions that was in, because they forced the people to leave so that they could make money. They were basically making money off of graduates. That's basically what they were doing, and it was never brought to light. And then when I brought it to light, they apparently changed. I don't know, they changed their ways and whatever. But you see, that might be a small act. Like, you know for a fact that your small act of just putting a heart in a flag has now got millions of South Africans. Let's be modest and say thousands of South Africans using it as their...
and they don't even know that I'm the one that started it.
They don't know that you started it, and it's a small act. For example, every day, we don't publicize it, but every day we make sure that when we go out, we fill a bottle of water and we take it for whoever's on the side of the road.
And sometimes if it's hot, then we make sure that it's ice-cold water.
And sometimes if we can, then we'll take a hot drink or whatever. But we don't go around and say it's the hashtag bottled water challenge or whatever and get everybody to do it. But now they have what's this thing called, plastic container challenge or whatever, where you must put stuff in a plastic container, your ice cream containers, and then you go, yes, okay, fine. It's good that people are doing that, but when we do something, it doesn't have to always be for show. And when I did it, I didn't do it for show. I did it so that someone else can benefit from it in the long run. One thing that always stuck with me was a sunnah that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ did, was that if he saw even a banana peel on the floor, he would pick it up so that the next person doesn't slip. And that's the way that I live my life, is that if I can make a path clear, look at this path here. This path is clear. Now imagine this is your taqdeer and that's your path, right? And you can go on this clear path, or you can go look further there, same you're going in the same direction, but you're going through all that bush, and you might get pricked, you might get a snake bite, you might get a bee stung, or whatever the case is. Now, I want to, inshallah, make it clear so that other people who are going on the same path or similar paths, or even if they're just going on their path, their way to their destination, that it's clear that they don't have to go through all those obstacles, because it shouldn't be. If we can make someone else's life easier, then why not? Now, the reason why I'm fighting with KFC, people say I'm fighting and I'm always wanting to fight and whatever the case is. I'm not always wanting to fight. I said in my post that I usually let things slide if it doesn't need to be said or nothing needs to be done. But when it's unjust and immoral, now this was unjust and immoral to the fact that if KFC can do it to me and I am aware of it, what makes them not do it to somebody else who is not aware of it? And they can carry on doing it, and it perpetuates to a point where they constantly do it. It's like the guys that in government or in these big corporates that steal all the time. If no one puts a stop to it, then it would never end. Someone needs to put a stop to it, and someone needs to say, this needs to end now, because as long as it continues, it has a ripple effect. So like I'm saying to you, if I clear this path, it's clear for other people to go. But if I continue to put obstacles in everybody's way, it makes it difficult for everyone.
Or if you don't clear the obstacles, there's still obstacles in everyone's way.
Exactly. So like we say, if people at the top are stealing, then the people at the bottom have a ripple effect and they don't get stuff. This morning we saw that robbery where the car behind us was robbed. People, 4 guys jumped out of the car, they went and they robbed the lady behind us. Now, the first thing is, and people become racist because of the color of the people's skin who did the crime. Or it becomes, this country's full of crime and they're doing nothing about it. No, the problem starts at the top. If the president and his people and whoever is in government are not stealing, the people at the bottom wouldn't have to steal. They steal because they're desperate. Yes, there's other ways and means of getting money and getting a job and whatever, but have you ever woken up in the morning and not have anything to eat? Then you know that you're going to go out and you're going to try and see whatever you can, and you're normally going to resort to crime. I'm not saying that I condone it, I'm not saying that it's a good thing. I'm saying that sometimes people are so desperate they don't know where else to turn, and this is what happens. And the crime can be curbed, the crime can be stopped if people have jobs, if people are busy. I mean, you know that the old proverb about idle hands, where Satan is busy with him because you're doing nothing, you have nothing else to do. So if these people are busy and they have jobs, even if they're in internships or learnerships or some sort of thing where they're using their actual skills, and everybody has skills, it doesn't matter what it is, it doesn't matter where you're from. These people, they say, they're in a township, so they're automatically classed as they don't have brains, they don't have any skills, they can't do anything with themselves. And that's not true, because there's people that are far more intelligent in the township than there are people going to private schools. I'm just gonna say it. And those people should be looked after, and there should be some sort of, why isn't there a challenge to try and educate people? Huh? Why isn't there a hashtag educate a child challenge? Why isn't there more groups going out there and trying to get these people educated and skilled and get jobs for them, create jobs? It's easy to create jobs. It's not difficult. We started a business from nothing, zero, nothing. And we built that business to help other people create employment. And obviously we want to create employment from our business as well, but we're helping other people so that they can create employment in their business so that their businesses can keep running. Why aren't there more projects like that? All I'm saying is that
If they do get the inspiration from us, also
Yeah.
give us a credit there.
well, if they do, then they do. But you see that it's going to make people's lives easier. If there is more people that are employed, they are feeding more families. They say that one person employed feeds a minimum of 8 people. Minimum of 8 people. And that's a fact. In most households, the one person that's a breadwinner is feeding at least 8 people. If it's not in the immediate household, they are feeding their parents or their siblings or whatever who don't live in the household. So imagine if you just employing one person. So that's where it starts. You need to create less obstacles. You need to clear the obstacles so that people can move forward and they can move forward freely. So next year maybe I'll run for presidency, who knows? But these are the things that need to be implemented. And it's the same thing of now with COVID-19. We can just be more human. There was no need for everybody to go through the struggles that they did if the superpowers had come together and said, you know what, we're all going through this thing. There must be a simpler way for us to get through this economic crisis. For me, we're not even going to talk about economics because I don't even believe in economics because as far as I'm concerned, it's a made-up thing to just empower a few people, or enrich rather a few people. If the superpowers came together, or not even the superpowers, every leader from the countries of the world, and they said now is COVID-19. They knew from last year it was called COVID-19 because it happened in 2019, just by the way. So if they knew already in 2019 that these are the things that are going to happen and that's going to affect our economy because businesses won't be able to work or whatever the case is, there should have been things in place to say this is how we're going to go around it. I mean, you think about it, the government is still asking for you to pay for water. The water that, yes, okay, there's a piping, the system, drainage system and whatever that's set up by the government and needs to be maintained and whatever, but now we're in a world crisis. These are special circumstances. God is not asking the government to pay for the water that comes from the sea. Is he asking for that? No, he never asked for that. God is not asking for us to pay for this land that we're living on, but the government is asking for the rates and taxes, which forces the homeowners or land lords to ask for their rent from their tenants or whoever is living in those places or working in those offices or whatever. These are special circumstances. There should be special circumstances in places, but these world leaders, I'm going to say it again, they don't know anything. They could have come together and said, this is what we're going to do. These are the contingency plans. This should have been done long before. When you get into power, this must be, even in a corporate role, you know that there's a mitigation plan where if something were to go wrong, this is what we're going to do. Yes, it's a global pandemic and we've never seen anything like it before, but then there was the Spanish flu and the Black Plague and whatever, and that was so many 100 years ago and whatever the case is. But you should know, if something like this were to happen, what are we going to do? And what was there? Nothing. So thousands of businesses had to close down, people were out of jobs, people are going hungry, and people are dying. But that's just normal because the people at the top, they just see that F-type there, sorry I got distracted. And that's what I'm saying, is that they could have cleared that path, those obstacles, made it a little easier for people that, I mean, I had COVID-19, whether people want to believe it or they don't want to believe it. I didn't go get tested. Why? Because who's it going to benefit? It's not going to benefit me. I'm going to get a test back, and the test is going to say to me, I'm COVID-19 positive, and then what? It's not going to cure me. But
and
I
it's
must
not like you went near anyone anyway.
No, and then
as soon as you felt sick,
I self-quarantined myself for...
You self-quarantined yourself?
Yeah, I self-quarantined myself, like how I'm going to write my own autobiography. Someone else is going to write my autobiography, sorry. So I didn't go to a general GP. I self-quarantined myself.
This is
okay.
Probably.
And then, alhamdulillah, I made it through.
So it's not... So wait, we just want to make sure that as soon as you felt sick, no one came near us. You were in the room. We, both the kid and I, made sure that we were in the other room, and thankfully we were in a home this time to have another room to go to, and no one came over, and we didn't go anywhere. We didn't go anywhere at all. So you didn't put yourself or anyone else at a risk.
No, I didn't.
And whether you had it or not, whether people think that you don't have it or not, the thing is you you're looking at the F-type again. I'm looking at the F-type now. Look at the device. Ooh. Okay, sorry. What was I saying? You just, whether it was or not, at least you made sure that no one was near you, and you didn't try and you didn't go near anyone, so you didn't affect anyone. But the thing is, it was the symptoms of COVID-19.
Yeah, well, you see, there again, like, people will wait until they get the results back. Now, firstly, people will feel sick, and because it's this special circumstances where if you're feeling sick, as soon as you feel sick, you should self-quarantine for 14 days. But people think, oh no, I'm just feeling a little bit sick. It's okay, I'll carry on going to work, or I'll carry on going to school, or whatever the case is. And then they could infect other people. And then they want to go to the doctor or the clinic or wherever it is, potentially carrying that virus, go there, have the test done, and then wait however many days it is to get your results. So in that time you could have infected so many people along the way, and then you find out that you're positive, then you want to stay at home and say, oh, now I'm COVID-19 positive, so I have to stay at home. But in the meantime, you probably contacted at least 20 people because you had pizza delivered to your home or whatever the case is. And now, instead of just avoiding all that, you know that you're sick. If you are COVID-19 positive, just stay at home for 14 days. If you need medication, then it's a different case. You speak to your doctor over the phone and you say to your doctor, I think I may have COVID-19. Your doctor says, okay, you come in for a test. Right. Just if you need to go for a test, and then they will give you medication or whatever the case is. But if you can stay at home for the 14 days, then stay at home. Those are the small things that you are clearing obstacles for somebody else, because that person that didn't stay at home and went out could have potentially caused someone else to land up in hospital for no reason, because you could have just stayed at home, finished, had your 14 days, and the virus would have ended. And the more people that do that, the less people get contracted, and the virus will stop sooner than later. So that's what I'm talking about again. Today's talk is about clearing
so
obstacles.
many other things.
No, it's about clearing obstacles for other people, and about just picking up that banana peel. I mean, if you think about it, if you didn't have to even pick up the banana peel, if that person
I'm
had
pretty
put
sure it wasn't a banana peel, it was probably a stone, because then someone will be like, oh, there wasn't a banana peel in the Prophet ﷺ time or something like that, I don't know.
Okay, well, even if it was a stone or whatever it is that cleared the path, but what I'm trying to say is, say it is a banana peel, and that person that picked that threw the banana peel in the bin in the first place, there wouldn't have been a banana peel on, lying in someone's way. But if everyone picked up something that was close to them that had fallen on the floor because maybe the wind blew it or whatever the case is, there wouldn't be any litter. The garbage people, garbage collectors would have an easier job because they wouldn't have to worry about cleaning the streets because you are not filthy and throwing stuff on the floor. So you make his life easier and he has more time to do other things, and maybe he can finish work early and go spend time with his family. So it's just small things that people can do that can have an impact on other people's lives that make it easier for them.
There's the obstacles.
Okay, so basically all I want to say is that no matter how small an action you think it is, it might have an impact on somebody else's life. So do it. Do it if you know that you're doing it for the pleasure of the Almighty and you're doing it because you're going to help somebody in the long run. I'm Ziyaad. I love Zere. Hashtag after Fajr.
Is that it?
That's it.
Okay, so all this because I asked you, why do you fight, in inverted commas?
Yes.
Okay,
all that.
but you're not really fighting. You're just standing up for yourself and for others to clear a path for others.
Yes.
Okay, I had the last say. I'm Nabia and I love Zere. Hashtag after Fajr.